Here we are in the early morning sunshine at Grimsby. The port of Grimsby means fish, and we're here at the fish market to talk to one person, Dave Appleby, who's been selling fish here for 55 years. He's been a central character in the life and wealth of what really makes Grimsby tick, and that's the fish industry.
£2.50. £2.
What's that for, Dave?
Box 11, £2.
160.
£2.
I'm with Dave Appleby this morning, and it's fair to say, Dave, that you've been selling fish down here at the fish market for a bit now.
So, yeah. I would say the first box of fish I sold would be, I started in 1956, so 1958.
So what was it like down here on the docks 55 years ago?
A lot of workers then. There were hundreds of workers. There was a lot of fish merchants in those days, probably, I would think, up to 400 fish merchants.
Okay.
All employing a lot of staff then, because everything was manual. I would think most merchants would employ 7 or 8 staff, maybe 10 staff. That's quite small merchants, and they bought a lot of fish in those days.
Dave sold our family 3 generations of fish. My father used to buy off him in the 70s and the late 60s. I've bought a fish off Dave Appleby for 33 years. In fact, I remember the first time I bought fish off Dave. I had to buy 40 boxes at 18 quid a box. But I actually panicked and bought 18 boxes at 40 quid a box. But that's how the sales was then. It was fast and quite intimidating. It was my first auction 33 years ago.
Well, I think the secret of his success is his personality, and he is genuinely a decent guy. And one of the things down on the fish docks is it's a pretty robust environment personally, so you do get found out. So in Dave's case, he's been dealing with a large number of people all these years, and in all cases he's been very consistent because he's a fair guy to deal with.
Yeah, very robust. It was, as a 15-year-old, it was quite frightening, I suppose, in a way, because they were so strict. Having said that, I suppose we're a bit more grown up in those days because we had to start work at 15. We couldn't stay at school till we was 18, 20-year-old.
To be a good salesman, you need to know when to take a bid, when to get the market moving, you know, when there's large volumes, to keep that market going, to get the prices, and he's very good at that. He can sell, big volumes at very, very quick pace, and he always get good prices for his fish.
Obviously, we get an inkling by talking to people of what they're likely to pay. Then the other merchants will come along and try to find out from me what other people want to pay. And it's you don't divulge it. You keep it to yourself, which makes it more interesting.
Well, I think it's because he's always fair. He's a fair salesman. He's not out there just to sort of drive the price up. He understands the market. He understands the peaks and troughs of it. He understands the interaction with his buyers, which is the merchants. And I think because of that, and because of his wealth of experience, he's a very fair salesman. There's no arrogance about David. What you see is what you get, and that's good. I mean, if you was to actually write a textbook about being a fish salesman, I think you would use David as a blueprint.
If you could almost pick an outstanding memory for yourself out of this place, what would it be?
I suppose, thinking back, it really is when the Queen visited. And I was on the picture there. I was 17 then.
And is that the same book you've got in your pocket?
No. I think that was well worn out. Very similar. We still have the same type of book, but yeah, that was me, and that was my immediate boss, the salesman. And there's the Queen, and I believe that is George Colbeck, who was then chairman of the FMA. Yeah. Showing around. Yeah.
And what's his secret ingredient then? From what I've seen of Dave so far, he's this smiling, really nice guy who's able to keep control out there. So what is his secret ingredient?
In my opinion, it's totally fair and an absolute gentleman to work with.
Well, I think he's given stability, consistency and recognition of the fact that as a salesman you do know that anybody buying on the market, it's an open market, transparent market, the credentials for coming onto the market are equal, you know, to have a guarantee and be a member of the Fish Merchants Association, and then you go on the market and it doesn't matter if you're buying 1 box or 1,000 boxes, Dave Appleby will treat you with the respect that people deserve.
He's a great character, he's got a great personality, very, very nice man. So I think that helps David. You know, you'd look at him, he's not a very big build of a man, he's not very tall, but he's a nice chap. So with that, I think that is how he's managed to do and work with the amount of people that he's worked with, big, small, big companies, small companies, everybody. We'll not hear anybody have a bad word to say about David.
It's because of his experience, you know, he is a success, and I think no matter who we work for, anyone would be proud to employ David Appleby.
Right, so there's no sign of retirement on the horizon. Let's put that myth to rest straight away.
No,
somebody mentioned it earlier on, but you were horrified at that thought.
it's news to me. I might find out when I get in the office it's true.
By the way, Dave.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
And I'll tell you what, I really wish you many, many years of working down here, because you've obviously made the place really tick along, and everyone speaks of you so highly about being a guy that they can trust out there on the sales floor, and that's obviously the key ingredient.
Well, that's the main thing, yeah. Trust and enjoyment, yeah.
Okay, Dave, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Bid 220, 30, 40. Ocean Harvest. 22.
Well, you learn something new every day, and what I've learned is that when I grow up, I want to be like Dave Appleby. I want to come to work with a spring in my step, looking forward to my 70th birthday. We've spoken to a lot of people today, the Fish Merchants Association, the merchants, the traders, and they all say one thing about you, Dave. You're a trustworthy, honest, decent bloke who's really made a massive contribution to the life and wealth of the fishing industry here at Grimsby. They said one other thing as well, Dave. You don't half know a lot about fish. Cheers.